Oh, hi. I didn't see you were there. I'm just polishing a turd. It doesn't really help these things. Anyway, it's Happy New Year Day. It's New Year's Day, and so I just wanted to take this opportunity to wish everyone a very, very happy 2015. And this has been a most amazing year for vinyl. It's been better than I think any of us could have predicted. First of all, we found out late in the year that there are new presses coming from GZ and Palace, so there will be new presses. The capacity that we need to keep this thing growing will probably be increased to the point where we're going to be able to press records so that you won't have to wait 3 months to get the vinyl version of something that comes out on a digital version earlier. And it's surpassed everything that I think any of us ever expected. This year was a year we had the Beatles in mono box. We had so many great reissues from so many labels, really high quality reissues from MoFi and from Analog Productions, and from, if I don't mention them all, they're all going to kill me, from Org and Org Music, and Speaker's Corner, all the labels that really take the care to release things on vinyl from tape when tape's available. It's fantastic. This year was just a wonderful year, and I got to travel around and meet people all over the world. And what's really interesting is people came up to me and said, "Thank you for all that you're doing." Like I'm working for UNICEF or doing saving children. This is about vinyl. This is not. Thank you for all that you're doing. But the fact of the matter is, there are people all over the world. Every race, creed, color, religion, sexual orientation, LGBT community, you name it. There are people who love records. They love vinyl. There's something about vinyl that they love. And you meet them. And it's just been really an amazing year. So there were a few things I wanted to talk about in the vinyl world that, there's just so much coming out. It's impossible to cover everything, just impossible. So I want to show some records here that I've had, that I wanted to do reviews on, that I just have not had the time. I wish there were 5 of me to do them, but this one was really, really good. This is David Crosby's latest one, and it's a double LP. It's cut from 192 24-bit files, very high resolution files, by Doug Sachs. And, David Crosby has always been a very didactic fellow. He's always pontificating, and that's just who he is. And he does plenty of that on this record. And I think he's aided by his son-in-law, I believe. There's some very many good songs on here, and I'm not going to get into more detail about that because it really should be written about. But it's a good record, and it's not If Only I Could Remember My Name, but it's, in some ways, it's better than that record. It's a little less pretentious. It's a little more learned. It's an older guy who's seen a lot, done a lot, and he's got some interesting things to say about what he's seen and done. And it sounds good, too. This is the newest one from Spoon, They Want My Soul. And I'm a big Spoon fan, and I've got all of their records. And this one, if it's not broken, don't fix it. There's nothing particularly new about the formula. The drummer, Jim Eno, doesn't play quite as much behind the beat as usual. It's a little more hardcore, a little harder, not quite as tuneful, but it's still a really good record. If you don't know any Spoon records, you're missing a really great band. They've been around, for decades now, for more than the Beatles were only around for 5 years. These guys have been at it since the 90s. And they've made consistently great records. You can dance to them. They're interesting. When you listen to them, you know that the lead guy, Britt Daniel, grew up in a family with music and records. And these records are, for the most part, really well produced sonically. They have a space. They're not haphazard. And this one, not my favorite, but it's a good record. And if you're a Spoon fan, you want to have all of them and support them. It's pressed on white vinyl. At least the first pressing was, and it was done at, I believe. Let's see. It was mastered at True Tone, by Carl. Who, it's funny. Carl's last name is Italian. I can't remember it offhand, but there's a lot of Italians who do mastering. There was the late George Marino and Greg Calvi and Greg Fulginetti and Andy Pastafazul. A lot of Italian guys in this for some reason. I'm not exactly sure. It would be an interesting study why so many Italians are mastering engineers. And I don't know where this was pressed. I'm looking for something on here, but I don't. It's got lots of pock marks. It was cut 514. Anyway, it's a pretty good sounding record. And there's no reason why white vinyl can't sound as good as black vinyl, because it's clear vinyl that gets colorized. Leonard Cohen's new one. This is a fantastic record, like the last one. This is Popular Problems, and he doesn't have much of a voice left, but he knows how to use that growl that he's got and weave a spell and tell great stories. And he's got them. So this is highly recommended. The vinyl sounds fantastic. Pressed at United, good pressing. See, I can say it. If they press a good record, I'll say so. They're such babies over there. There are so many babies in this business. If you say something bad about them, that's bad because it's true, then they don't want to talk to you. They have a hissy fit. So, nobody United will talk to me because I've been critical of bad records they've pressed. This is a good one. And they did a good job with this one. So, but they still won't talk to me. They will not answer my emails. I'd love to go down there and look at their new pressing plant that they've opened and see what's going on, but they won't invite me because I said bad things about them. So annoying. Anyway, another good record. Jenny Lewis. I love Jenny Lewis. She was in Rilo Kiley. She was a child actress. She's great. This is her newest one. I recommend the Rilo Kiley albums. And the last Jenny Lewis album, Acid Tongue, was a great record. This one, very high hopes for this record. I think she was really seeing it as a breakout record, and it's got some great songs on it. She's Not Me is a great song. It's a really good song. The whole album doesn't hold up quite as well as I think some of us were hoping, but again, if you're a fan of the person like Jenny, and I'm a fan, I'm happy to have it. There's enough good songs on here to make it worthwhile. And it was Ryan Adams produced it, and the recording is okay. It's not as good as some of the other ones for some reason. It sounds kind of digitally. And this was, I think, pressed at Palace. Good pressing, a good record. If you're a fan, it's worth having. I play it a lot. I like it. Here's one that's really this one. I should have reviewed this. I should have gotten this one. This is Real Estate, and this one, Atlas. I can recommend this without hesitation. If you don't know this, it's got a very dreamy quality. I mean, they get into a dreamy kind of jangly guitar groovy thing that really is reminiscent of it. You could call it shoegazing music, emo, like almost like that stuff is now old school. But it's very well recorded at the Loft in Chicago and the Magic Shop in New York, which is a great place. And Greg Calvi mastered it. I'm not sure who cut this one. Whether it's analog or digital, I'm sure it's digital. But it's a great sounding record, and it's a nice package. These guys are from Ridgewood, New Jersey, next town over from me. And I didn't know that when I bought it. But this is a mesmerizing, really great record. I keep saying great a lot because, on camera I can't be as eloquent as when I write, But if you buy this record, you'll like it. It's real good. Sorry, I can't be more eloquent. You'll like it. It's really good. Tough. That's the best I can do. What else have I got here? Oh, okay. I'm cleaning my room. I don't know if you can see it. It looks really neat. I pulled out this album. This is Slint. This album I bought. I gotta tell you the truth. I bought this album when it first came out. Well, when it was reissued by Touch and Go, because it originally came out on the Jennifer Hartman record label, a very small label in Chicago, I believe, or Kentucky. And I bought the record because there's a sob on the cover. Okay, it's a lame reason to buy a record, but that's why I bought it, because I'm a sob fanatic. And then when I took it out of the sleeve, it's cool because it's got the sob logo. most of it. So that's enough to get me to buy a record. And I don't know, didn't know anything about it. I look at Slint and I see the people that are in it, and then I see the engineering credit goes to some fucking Dird Niffer. Who knows what that is? So I put the record on, and first of all, it's like, what? Are you kidding me? This record, the sound on this record is like it's like an 11 for a rock record. It just kicks ass. And the music, it's not for everybody, but to me, I think this record set the trend, for a lot of music in the '90s, for Smashing Pumpkins and a lot of bands that came along in that period of time. It just kicks ass. And then, as I found out later, some fucking Dird Niffer is Steve Albini, the great Steve Albini. So, he is just the most fantastic engineer. I mean, one of the greatest engineers. He just knows how to put rock and roll on a record like nobody. And if this record's still around and you like hard rock and rhythmically punchy, time changes and interesting stuff, Slint, Tweez, highly recommended. Let's see, what else did I have here? Oh, this is Jose Gonzalez. You know Jose Gonzalez? It's kind of like Hispanic Nick Drake, maybe? How's that for racist? Hispanic Nick Drake, maybe, I would say Hispanic Jose Feliciano, but that's, it's a very soft-spoken, introspective, really great acoustic guitarist, nicely recorded record. This one's called Veneer, and it was originally on the Mute label, and it's on Imperial Recordings, and I bought this one on a hunch just because it looked kind of cool. And it's from 2012, and it comes with the CD. So then you can hear what it's really supposed to sound like, because as we know, this is the accurate rendering of this music. And once you put it on a record, it's colored. It's colored. You know what I'm saying? It's colored, and that is accurate. Accurate to what? What is it accurate to? I don't know what they're talking about. Accurate to what? Whoever the mastering engineer's speakers were that aren't the same speakers that you have. It's a free-for-all out there, folks. Do what you like. I like records. This is a nice record. Okay, and then, here's one. This is Beth Orton. Do you know Beth Orton? This is produced, engineered, and mixed by Tucker Martine from the Decemberists. And I bought it, and it came out in 2012 on the Anti label, which is Tom Waits' label. And I never played it. It just sat. I have all these records. You can't even see half the records. And I don't get to play a lot of them. And so while I was cleaning up, I found it. I pulled it out. And I said, I'm going to play this record. Damn it. And I played it. It's wonderful. She's, it's like Sandy Denny meets Cat Power, although I think Beth was doing it first. Very beautiful arrangements. I can't believe I only played it. I didn't play it. I played it now. I wore it out. I played it so many times. Those records, they wear out after a couple of plays. Highly recommended. Beth Orton, The Sugaring Season. That's all I can say on a camera. I can't be more eloquent about it, because I haven't thought about it. I just played it and liked it and said, this is really great. I got to tell people about it. Okay, so that's another one I recommend. This one. This is, the Black Keys. This is Turn Blue. It's the Black Keys do Pink Floyd. If you heard this one, it's a Danger Mouse, so it's kind of compressed. It's that compressed thing, but that's what it's supposed to be, and it's got lots of good tunes on it. And there's a reason why they're really successful and popular, and this record is as good as any of them. And you'll hum a tune and you'll like it, and that's all I can say. And it comes with a poster, so next time you drop acid, you can unfurl the poster and go, I saw that again. Oh, I saw that. Oh, I saw that. What? And it's good. I played this a lot. I played it so often that I found no time to review it. So, the latest. Ray LaMontagne, he's been in the country for many years and doing, kind of like band kind of country stuff. And here he he kind of, and this is produced by Dan Auerbach from Black Keys, so it's like, and on this record he kind of does his Kinks thing and his 60s psychedelic. He lets loose a little bit. It's not 100% successful. I think the people that like the older stuff may not like this as much, but it's a good record. I like it. Recommended it. I didn't review it because it's too busy. Now here's a really weird one. This is Linda Perhacs. You might not know this. You might know this. This is on Asthmatic Kitty, which is Sufjan Stevens' label, and so she put out a record in the '60s, a folk psych record. She was one of the originators of folk psych, and she has a lot of younger followers. So I was talking about this record when the memory card got filled and I couldn't say anything more. So as I was saying, she made this one record a long time ago in the '60s, and then sort of faded into obscurity. But she was discovered by a lot of younger folky types more recently, and encouraged to get back in the studio and record another record. So she did this one, and it just came out. It's very fused with a lot of echo, probably more echo than you'd like. It's very reverberant, and she's very, I don't want to say childlike, but she has no cynicism whatsoever. I mean, she's right there, and she's like a very good person, so I have trouble relating, and very charming. And if you drop your cynicism, she might take you to a very nice place when you listen. The sound isn't great. It's a little too echoey for me. But anyway, so those are the records I wanted to talk about. But there's one more thing I wanted to talk about, and that is, as we start a new year, the most amazing thing about what's happened with the vinyl revolution, resurgence, whatever you want to call it. There are all those cynics out there who think it's going to fade away because we have high resolution digital. I was disappointed in when Neil Young was on the Howard Stern show recently. It was a great interview, but Howard asked Neil about vinyl, and Howard hates vinyl, or he puts out that he hates vinyl. And speaking of disappointments, in May I was on the show in a contest. I was doing my Jackie Mason impression. I didn't do such a good job, but it was okay. I could have been better. It wasn't a good thing. I didn't do well. It was all right. Anyway, so and I got into a big argument with Howard about vinyl and about turntables. So Neil Young was on, and Howard asked him about vinyl. And of course, Neil was there to sell Pono, so he didn't want to talk about vinyl. And when he was asked about vinyl, he paused. There was like a long pause, relatively long pause for him. And he kind of said, well, when that's all there was, that's what I really liked, because CD, he hated. He knew CD was bad. He knew CD just was a real step down. He was one of the few who came right out and said it. And if you go on YouTube, you can find that video that I was involved with, that MTV put together. So it was me, Peter Gabriel, and Neil Young. It was good company, and Dave Mustaine from whatever that band he's in, Megadeth. And Dave Mustaine said, if you don't like digital, it's because you suck as a musician. What an idiotic statement. But anyway, so Neil, he kind of held back on vinyl enthusiasm because he's selling high resolution files. But the point that I want to make before stopping is to say that what's really important about this whole vinyl thing is not so much the vinyl thing. Well, it's important, but what's more important is that people say, see what the future is. We can see where things are going, and that's the future. That's not the future. The future is not where things are going and where people are telling you things are going and what the future is going to be. The future is what you make it. Whatever it is you do, whatever you're doing, the future is what you make it. And, in the 80s, when CDs came out, and vinyl was declared dead, a whole group of people all around the world, there were all these people that said, no, we like, this is the best way to listen to music, not just sonically, but as a thing, as something. And Neil said on Pono, when you push the button, you get the whole album. You know, you make a playlist of an album, you don't shuffle. You don't shuffle it. You hear the whole album as the artist intended. And that's what this is. And like I said in the Bruce Springsteen box review, when you listen to The River on vinyl, you hear the first cut on the side is an up-tempo cut, and the last song on the side is kind of a down-tempo cut. And then the second side starts with up-tempo, then it goes to... That's the way it was sequenced. And you should experience a record the way the artist sequenced it. And that's one of the things that people who love vinyl were saying. This is a format that has a lot of great qualities to it. It's timeless. And so in the 80s, where all these people are saying, this isn't the future now is streaming. That is your future. No, your future is what you make it. It's what you say it should be. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And if you're a young person watching this, you should use this whole vinyl thing as a metaphor for your future. Because you can make your future what you want it to be, not what someone else tells you it should be. And I look back at what's happened with this vinyl revolution, and it is the most fantastic thing for those of us who believed this was a great thing and wanted to save it, because we did it. All of us. You did. Everybody. We saved it. This is saved. You can now buy your music on vinyl. You can now sit and play a record and enjoy it. And even though some of it comes from digital and a lot of the new stuff comes from digital, I'm telling you, when you play it on a record, if it's a well-made record, there's still something about it. It gets the right chemicals in your brain. It excites the right chemicals in your brain. And whether that's because of L-R distortions or whatever, I don't care about whatever it is. You put it on, it sounds more real. Like when I reviewed the Beatles at the BBC, those are from digital files. It was cut from digital. But when you play the CD and you look at your speakers and John Lennon's talking, it's like, doesn't mean anything. I put the record on. I was surprised, but I put the record on, and when they interviewed John Lennon, it was like, there was like a holograph right there, and he was alive. He was talking in my room. That's the illusion that was created. And I don't care if it's an coloration that was added. I don't care what it was, but it was real, and that's what made the sound. It's what made the experience really fantastic. So we've saved vinyl. In 1982, I was told, maybe you were there, you were told, the future, vinyl is dead, the future is in CDs. Well, that sucked. That couldn't be the future. The future had to be in vinyl. So we made it the future. So whatever it is in your life, if you're a young person, you see a future, you're being told what the future is, that's not the future. The future is what you make the future to be, okay? I'm telling you, because I know. I lived this. This is amazing that this has happened. That's something that I lived and experienced. That shouldn't have happened, supposedly, but it happened. So 2015 is going to be an even better year than 2014 for vinyl, because 2014 was a fantastic year for vinyl. So, Happy New Year. Happy 2015.